In this video, we will learn how to perform shift management for your users on TeamTrace. To get started, navigate to Settings and select Roles. Choose the role you want to grant shift access to and enable the Shift Management module. This activates the shift functionality for that role. Once enabled, go to Shift in the left-hand panel and click on Shift Management. To create your first shift, click Add Shift. Fill in all required fields marked with an asterisk: shift name, branch, shift start time, shift end time, full day working hours, half day working hours, and allow overtime. You'll also set tolerances for early punch-in, early punch-out, late punch-in, and late punch-out. Once all fields are filled, click Submit. Note: two shifts cannot share the same name within the same branch. When you create a shift, 4 buffer settings control exactly when a user is allowed to clock in and out: early punch-in, late punch-in, early punch-out, and late punch-out. Let's walk through each one using our sample shift that runs from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m., with every buffer set to 10 minutes. Early punch-in controls how early a user can clock in. With a 10-minute buffer, the user can punch in from 4:50 a.m. onwards, but not a moment before. Any attempt to punch in earlier than 4:50 a.m. is blocked outright. Late punch-in gives the user a short grace window at the start of the shift. As long as they punch in by 5:10 a.m., they're treated as on time. If they punch in after 5:10 a.m., they're still allowed in, but the system flags it in the Reports section as a late punch-in. Early punch-out works the same way at the end of the shift. If the user punches out before 11:50 a.m., they're allowed to leave, but the system flags it in the Reports section as an early punch-out. Late punch-out determines what happens if a user forgets to clock out. With a 10-minute buffer and overtime turned off, if the user hasn't punched out manually by 12:10 p.m., the system automatically punches them out for the day. Now, what happens at the end of a shift depends on whether you enabled Allow Overtime when creating it. When overtime is not allowed, the user simply cannot work beyond the scheduled shift. They can't punch in outside the shift window at all, and, as we just covered, if they haven't punched out by the late punch-out cutoff of 12:10 p.m., the system punches them out automatically. When overtime is allowed, the user can keep working past the scheduled end time, and the system records that extra time as overtime. Let's follow it through, using our shift that ends at 12 p.m. At 12 p.m., the user has 2 paths. If they manually punch out any time after 12 p.m., the session ends and their overtime is recorded up to that point. If they take no action, the tracker starts a 1-hour count, and 1 hour later, at 1 p.m., it sends a push notification to the user asking, "Are you still working?" How the user responds decides what happens next. If they tap Yes, tracking continues and the app checks in again an hour later at 2 p.m., repeating this loop for as long as they keep working. If they tap No, the system punches them out. And if they don't respond at all, the app runs a final check at 1:15 p.m. If there's still no response, it triggers an automatic punch-out. This still working loop continues right up until the next shift is due to begin. For our 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. shift, it stops at 4:59 a.m. the next day, at which point the user must manually punch in again for their new shift, and all the overtime is recorded against the previous day. If the next shift instead started at 2 a.m., the loop would stop at 1:59 a.m. One more thing to keep in mind: certain events will punch a user out on their own, independently of everything above. If the user leaves their assigned geofence, turns off location permission, kills the app, or uninstalls it, any of these can trigger a punch-out directly. Note: for back-to-back shifts, the system handles this by taking the start time of the first shift and the end time of the last shift. For non-shift users, the system tracks working hours as usual, based on their regular activity times. Also note, once a shift is created and you edit it, only the shift name and shift color take effect immediately. All other changes, including time settings, apply from the next day onwards. After the shift is created, click on the shift name to view its full details. Next, click on Shift Calendar to get an overview of all shifts and the users assigned to each one. To assign users to a shift, click Associate People. Select a branch, the shift, the department, and finally the people you want to assign. Once your selection is ready, click Add, then click Save. From the shift calendar, you can also reassign an individual user to a different shift by clicking on their current shift entry and selecting the new shift. Note: if overtime is enabled for a shift, reassignment must be done at least 30 minutes before the shift starts. If overtime is not enabled, only the configured buffer time applies. Once the applicable window has passed, the system will display the error: Shift change window has passed. Any changes made here will be reflected immediately in the shift table. Users can also initiate a shift change themselves. Under My Shift, the Shift tab displays their current shift assignment along with its timing and last modified details. The Shift Calendar tab lets them check their current shift, and once a shift change has been approved, they'll return here to see the updated shift reflected. To request a change, they move to Approval and submit a shift change request. That request appears under Approval in the admin portal. As an admin, select the user's name to review the request, then approve or reject it. Now we'll look at how to set up a shift rotation. So, what is it? If your company runs more than one shift and you want to rotate employees from one shift to another at a fixed frequency, say every day, every week, or every month, you'll set that up using shift rotation. Let's create one. There are a few mandatory fields you'll need to fill in: user, branch, rotation name, start date, end date, frequency, and the shift map. Most of these are straightforward. The one worth explaining is the shift map. The moment you select a branch, the system pulls up a list of shift maps based on the shifts available at that branch. A shift map is simply a rule that says, employees currently in this shift should move to that shift. In every row, the From shift is already filled in for you. All you have to do is pick the To shift, where those employees should go next. Let's walk through an example. Say our company has 3 shifts: morning, evening, and night. When we select the branch, the system gives us 3 rows, one for each shift as a starting point. Now we decide the rotation. Morning goes to evening, evening goes to night, night goes to morning. So in the row where From is morning, we set To as evening. Where From is evening, we set night. And where From is night, we set morning. Here's what that means in practice. At the next rotation cycle, everyone on morning shifts over to evening. Everyone on evening moves to night. And everyone on night comes back around to morning. Then it happens again at the next cycle, and the next, all the way up to the end date you set. And that's it. With this one setup, you've created a continuous, cyclic rotation that keeps all your employees moving fairly across every shift, automatically.